We'll start over then.
No. We're fine. You literally were like, "Oh, welcome everybody. We're here. It's going to go up to a great start 2020." No. We're good.
Okay,
it's
so
fine.
On the thing,
now we're good.
I don't like this already. I already don't like being on a new channel.
You did this. We've done the same thing every time.
But no, because it was set up as an auto. There was no hitting of a button other than what I had to hit on my own system.
No, you had to do it before. Same thing.
No, I never got that prompt. Never. It's a setting that needs to be set. Here's what we need to do. We blame AZ. That's 2025's hashtag.
Well, he's not around to live stream and defend himself. So it's fine. He's cooked. He's done.
Well, welcome in everybody to Z and B Live, your Unfiltered Lego podcast. I don't know. I tell you what, you know what it is? I'm too hot. So let me just take this jacket off real fast. There, I feel good now.
How was your time away from broadcasting?
He's not even going to acknowledge it. He's not even going to acknowledge it. My God.
How'd it go? How we feeling?
Hey man, it was nice. I'm thinking about retiring and just doing that.
It was nice. I'm glad to be gone. I'm done.
I enjoyed it. I did miss you. I missed you. I missed this weekly hangout, weekly banter, and I miss all the people. But man, oh man, what nice. I've traveled a lot. Well, over the holidays, and that was nice because it's been a blizzard here in our town, and not being home for like any of that. But when I got home and it was 0 degrees outside and 17 inches of snow, I was like, nah. I wanted to leave right again. But how is your 2025 been? How are the holidays? How are things?
Things are great. Chill or going. Everything's good. I'm not even kidding. Nothing on fire. Holidays were awesome. Got to spend a lot of time, friends and family. Actually enjoy a holiday season instead of being super stressed about it. Bookathon went very well. Got 400 books in children's hospitals and organizations across the country, which is really awesome. And to kick off 2025, had a sponsored thing with Meta for the MetaQuest headset. We got the Switch 2 out this week, and or information about it. And then TikTok might be gone as of Sunday, so it's a pretty awesome 2025.
Yeah, it's a good start to the year. Your shirt's out of date, my guy.
Shut up.
I almost,
your shirt's out of date too.
Hey, listen, it's not out of date. This is new product that you can buy at Kuya Mart. In our good friend Maura Moore's virtual supermarket, right? Is the Saviano, the pizza that Brian backed out of.
Where's my royalty check? Where's my $2?
I almost bought that shirt while I was on my journeys over the holidays because it was dramatically discounted. And that was what the wife told me. She goes, the second you buy it, it's out of date. And I was like, you're not wrong. The next day they were off the shelves and they had all the 2025 stuff out.
Well, I mean, I didn't mind. Like, I'm still going to wear it because this is a year that I went to Walt Disney World. So I wouldn't mind, having it's totally
living
cool.
The now, man. No, I with you. It's a memory thing. I get it. And that's where I told her, I was like, but it's a reminder of our Christmas vacation in 2024, right? Like, she goes, yeah, it's outdated. Okay, whatever. It's fine. She just didn't want me to spend the money on that shirt. I think it's a fantastic shirt, and I think you look fantastic in it. So
what's the 2025 one? I haven't even seen it.
I don't remember. It was just as crazy, and it just had 2025 all over it. I mean, it was just 2025 everywhere. I mean, they had all kinds of tchotchkes and things. I mean, it was just 2025, like cups and mugs and all kinds of stuff like that. But anyway, welcome. New date, new time, and new channel for ZNB Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast. And regardless of all the really early shenanigans we had live here with our YouTube audience, yes, I am actually excited to be on our very own channel now. It's being hosted by a ZNB Live channel over on YouTube. But you can still find us at all the same podcast channels as well. Apple Podcast, Spotify, it's all in the description that you can find here on YouTube. And if you join us live on YouTube, you get to hang out with us after the show for the post show, where we get to discuss all the stuff that we maybe didn't dive as deep into. So if you guys have things you really want to say or talk about, you have we're very opinionated people, and this is a very opinionated show. We would love to hear your opinions, whether it be in the comments or in our live chat. So please make sure you stick around if you are currently with us or want to join us down the road. Would love to see more and more folks in here joining us for the live post show as well. But we got a lot. My God, it's the same thing we've talked about on the show repeatedly, right? The second one of us decides we got to take a day off, a week off, take some time off, whatever, for vacations or for other reasons, man, the news just starts, just piling on top. We got in our little pre-show meeting, and Brian said, so we're doing a 3.5 hour show today. And I said, probably. Because we got a lot of stuff to cover today. So let's jump right in, if we can, to discuss the new releases that Lego has.
I can't believe the first set we're going to talk about of 2025 is an absolute snooze fest.
We don't have to start with this. If you would like to just start with it.
It's setting a precedent for Lego in 2025, and I'm not happy about it.
Oh man, wait till you get to my 2025 predictions. Today's gonna be fun, kids. I'm telling you right now, I am fired up. I am so happy to be back, and I've got a lot to say today. Y'all thought I left 2024 with a bad taste in my mouth. Wait till you hear what I got to say about 2025 and Lego. Look out. But January 1st hit us with a ton of new set releases. And I only picked I picked a couple up. I picked the Tudor Corner. I've now dipped my toe into the modular waters. And I cannot wait to build that. Like, it looks great. Everybody that's built it loves it. I really wanted that gift with purchase. I hate to be chasing gift with purchases these days, but it fits so well with it, fits on the set. I just didn't want to miss out on that. So that was the one big set that I pulled a trigger on to start 2025 with. I got a couple. I got the Bamboo Botanic. I got I actually found the mini orchids early at Meyer. And built that before 2025 even started. Loved that little mini orchid. So I'm assuming the bamboo is going to be just as much fun. But that's other than the minifigs, the CMF line. That's it. Like, you be happy about me, Brian. Like, I really just got one set. I mean, we had Blacktron out there, we had Brickheads out there, we had a lot of stuff out there that I could have been snatching up. Marvel, whatever. Star Wars. I didn't touch a single Star Wars set, Brian. I didn't touch a single Star Wars set in 2025 yet. Like, come on, man.
Very proud of you.
I'm growing.
We all have our own path, and you're getting there. I'm very proud of you. I picked up some Mario Kart and Animal Crossing. Very predictable of me. Literally nothing else that I felt compelled to jump in day one. And I got a backlog, and I'm going to be building even more stuff. I have this Deku tree in looming over me, so I'm good. I'm good on pretty much everything, and I have decided that I'm not going to get every single modular that comes out and try to maintain this whole thing that I've been doing since the Palace Cinema came out. So I'm going to pass on the Tudor, and then...
Really? Of all the ones to pass on, you're going to pass on? Wow.
Don't really care. I really want a modular, like thinking of a building. I really want to see a 90s arcade.
Oh yeah.
Love to see something like that. But yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. They gave us a tease of it in the back of that Pac-Man set, right? And it just like it wet the whistle, right? I mean, it was more 80s style, but it's same idea, right? Like an arcade. Like I want an arcade kind of thing. But yeah, I assumed you would get the Mario Kart stuff. That's not for me, and that's fine. And that's where I'm kind of drawing my line in the sand, is like I'm really evaluating what is for me and what's not for me, what I can pass on. And that's looking ahead, the machine's not stopping. They're already announcing stuff in February. We already know what's coming out in March and beyond. And the big news that dropped today, early this morning, was they officially announced the new ideas set, the Twilight, the Cullen House. This may surprise you. This may shock you. This may shock our audience. I read all the Twilight books. I didn't just see the movies, Brian. I read all the books. Okay. And then I saw all the movies. And I could give two rats about this set. I don't get it.
It's an interesting looking building in terms of like a modern, we don't really have a lot of these around where I'm at. I can actually think of two buildings in my area that look even remotely close to that. I loved seeing Lego flounder in their social media post trying to combat the Nintendo Switch 2 news with this. They're like, look at us. And then it's just like big like mothership Nintendo comes through and is like, nobody cares.
Like if
and smashes on him and walks away.
Why didn't they announce this yesterday? They could announce this yesterday.
Could have literally pushed it by a day. And what's amazing, we'll get into it in a second, but there were so many outlets outside of that bubble that were like, Nintendo's going to announce this on Thursday. It's pretty much a lock. And no one at Lego was like, I mean, is it technically two entirely separate audiences? Yes. But when you're talking about the general social buzz, push it.
Since 2020, I feel like more people have dipped their toes in that Lego pool, right? Like that audience is a lot closer these days than it used to be. So I think there's a lot of cross. I mean, my God, we're going to talk about it here in a second. They've got a partnership with them. You know what I mean? Like they make Nintendo sets. We just talked about the Mario Kart stuff. Like I just don't understand from a Lego's perspective why you don't push it out earlier. Other than it's the same thing that we felt about the Blacktron set a little bit. Maybe it just kind of got pushed out to die. I don't know. Here's the thing. The set, okay, architecturally kind of interesting, but in its current 2001 piece setup, like it's not great. It's pretty boring on the inside, but so was the house in the movies. And that's where I stick with the whole, and I said this back when they announced the ideas getting voted and getting approved. This house wasn't like a major character in it wasn't something that you just like read the books and went, oh, I cannot wait to see the Cullen house on screen. Like, you know what I mean? And then when they put it on screen, you're like, okay.
It's going to join the lineage of movie based sets where the core people who are going to buy it within the first calendar year. And this will not be available within the next 18 months. So if you want this, I would get it by Christmas 2025. It might even be on the way out by Christmas. I'm not going to lie to you. We've kind of seen that a little bit more frequently, and the way stuff's coming out, like this just feels like another one in the rotation. And I knew Twilight was big, and I know it's big. Like it's not quite like Harry Potter level of taking the book to the movie, but like at the time it was a big thing. So maybe like do people who were obsessed with it in high school at the time now have the money to justify? I don't really know. I have no idea.
I just said I read all the books and watched all the movies, and I'm a Lego fan, and this set doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I'm not saying I am the core Twilight audience or anything like that, But
You
considering,
had every reason to justify buying this, and you're still not.
and I'm walking away from
it.
it, right? Because at the price at $220, like
Expensive.
the most special thing about this is the fact that they put like reflective shards in awesome. What's his name's face to allow like a glow, a shimmer effect, right? A glitter. They basically put glitter in his face.
What you should have done is you should have cut the entire back half of this house off and trimmed the price by $100, and it would have sold way better. I don't know why they decided to make it a full building. Is beyond me, but
this is how you know it's bad. Go watch the marketing release materials for this, like the trailer for it and everything like that. They got nothing to show inside this house. Nothing. Like they show somebody rolling around on a couch. They show, what's his name standing off the back of the balcony, right? Like, because there's nothing interesting going on. It's a boring house. Like, it's a boring inside house. The coolest thing about it is the stairs. Like, that's the neatest thing going on in there.
So as a also shameless plug, do we feel that a Gilmore Girls set done by Brick and Nick and that setting is way more interesting than this house?
Because there's more going on with it. And that's a prime example of, this is why this goes against some of the stuff that we've seen with other movies and television show sets those are characters in said properties, right? And so what Nick was able to create was that character, that whole town and vibe and show in that little house and square. Like, that was a character in that show. Like, this is rarely seen in the movies. I'm trying to. It has been a minute since I've read the books. I'm trying, but that's how unmemorable it was, right? I don't remember them describing the house over and over and over again, and it really being a character in the books. But it could be the fact that I just haven't read the books in years, right? But obviously it didn't stick out. I've seen about that much of Gilmore Girls. My wife is obsessed with it, right? But I've only sat down and watched about this much of it. I didn't even read Nick's post when he posted what he had. I looked at it and immediately knew what it was. And that is why I'm saying it provides that character, because that was memorable, right? It's the same thing with the Friends stuff. Those are memorable settings. The apartments, the
Friends is like on such a different level.
I get it. But I'm going back to like what the stuff that they have, what Lego has done with sets like this, right? Office. It's memorable. Like that's the character. The office itself is a character. The apartment for the Big Bang Theory, that apartment was a character. Like there's no other than it. Yeah, it's an interesting looking building on the outside, kind of. It's just because it's so different of a building than anything else that we've seen. But I mean, you could say that Friends set that came out, the whole Miami vibe to it and everything, that's kind of shaped very similar to this, has a lot more character going on with that Friends set that came out in 2024 than this does, right? At a much better price. So I don't know. You would think that a set like this, movie fan, television fan, pop culture fan, read all the books, watched the movies, this set is made for somebody like me, and I'm walking into it going, if you hadn't branded it Twilight, I would never have known.
As Gary Smith in our live audience says, 40% off by December 2025. Click it and ship it. It's happening.
Yeah, 100%. And again, this was an idea set. What's not an ideas set is what we're about to discuss next with Nintendo. Now, Nintendo had a big announcement that really overshadowed anything that Lego could put out today. The only thing that Lego, I think, maybe could have combated this is if they had announced what their $1,000 Lego set really is going to be in October. Like that could have made some pretty big waves to compete with what Nintendo did today.
Yeah, it's still two very different, but yeah, I agree.
Worst kept secret on the internet, by the way. The announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2 hits, and Nintendo fanboys all over the world and the internet were salivating at this. As a non-Nintendo fanboy, I looked at it and went, okay, Whatever. I've got it. I was looking at it going, okay, it's bigger than my Switch OLED here. Okay. Whew. So as a Nintendo fanboy, Brian, why should I be excited about this Switch 2?
For someone like you who's more casual, you don't really have a reason to be excited right now. And this was meant to be a surprise teaser, leaks aside, pretend you didn't know anything.
Sure.
This would have been a cool thing. Like, hey, Nintendo is iterating, they are refining, and the method, the terminology that came to mind that a lot of people have said is they are becoming Apple in the sense of releasing iterative products that refine on what is already successful. And if you look at everything Nintendo has ever done in their company history of making video games, it's basically led to the Switch of a console quality handheld you can take anywhere and share with friends that has all the bells and whistles with it. So iterating on that and making it even better and more accessible, more powerful, whatever, it's going to feel at some point as underwhelming as going from the iPhone 14 to 15. It's better, but is it going to knock your socks off? I mean, for some people, but most people know and they'll get it anyways. We're not going to know anything until the games are going to be debuted in April. But right now, yeah, you don't have any reason to be excited. I know what a new console means. It means a new Mario Kart, new Smash Bros, new 3D Mario, new like all that stuff. I know for a fact is happening in the next 5 years. So that's why I'm excited. Am I salivating to get the new no, I'm excited to play that Mario Kart that was featured and all the stuff that goes with it.
Gotcha. So it's not about the hardware, it's about the software that comes with it. And that's what I kept looking at. Okay.
There is no, I've had my PlayStation 5 since 2021 when God of War 1 came out. I've played 5 games on there that are really designed for PS5 and really get me excited. Everything else is on Switch because the games I just enjoy more and are more fun. So I don't need super powerful to have a great gameplay experience and whatever. And when it's necessary, yeah, third party, I go on PS5. But as long as the games are fun, I don't care.
Yeah, and that's what's always been interesting about Nintendo is that they've seemed to have done, I don't know, they seem to have, with their games, they seem to have done more with less, right? Like they shouldn't be able to push some of the pretty games that they've been able to push out with the systems and the specs that they have been able to push them out with. So I give them, I feel like they've always been, that Wii, I feel like they've always been at the forefront. That Wii is set the standard for what Apple did with Apple TV. Like without the Wii and that interface, like we were looking at Apple TV before Apple TV was Apple TV. We just didn't know it.
The point of a Nintendo is to get people who don't play games to play the games. And Mima Debbie was picking up a Wiimote, playing Wii Sports in the retirement home. And that to me is everything. So now that Nintendo is like refining it, like I think that's just what's going to happen from now on. They're never going to make just a home console or just a handheld ever again. It's going to be a Switch 2 and then Switch 3, and so I think that's what. But that's kind of
that's where I take them away from Apple, right? Was they up until, in my opinion, again, we don't have specs, which whatever, but up until the Switch 2, they had really leapt forward in the style of hardware that they were pushing out and innovation that they were pushing out, right? And that was what Apple used to be known for. It's just slapping on. But that was where this is different than Apple. Apple's releasing a new phone or device every single year. They're just slapping a new title on it, right? We waited 8 years between the devices, and other than the the internals, like the spec sheet possibly going up, the design itself and the functionality is pretty much the same as the original. So they didn't really, it doesn't feel like they innovated on what they might have. It's just like they, in their minds, probably perfected what was going on with the Switch originally. I
would argue, yes, they like going back to what I said before, every handheld and home console has kind of been leading up to this. And where Nintendo is going to iterate now is going to be on the accessories, the other initiatives. Like we're going to do the wacky thing like Alarmo, which is a Nintendo-themed alarm clock for your home. Okay, wow. It's kind of dumb, but I like it. I want it. So there's going to be more stuff like that comes out that kind of complements the whole ecosystem and doing more things with the IP. Like, okay, now we're having more Mario movies, and now we're gonna have this Zelda thing, and now we're gonna have Super Nintendo World, and like they're gonna innovate in all these other ways that complement this console that they have perfected. That's how I see it.
And some people have been quick to jump on. This is why Lego gave us Mario Kart sets this year, is they knew this was coming. They knew there was a Mario Kart game coming. I don't think that's the case. I don't think you think that's the case. I think that was just, coincidence more than anything, because we all know Lego does their own thing. Like they just do. They have their own calendar system going on there in Denmark. They just do their own thing. They don't care about what's going on. Today's a prime example. Oh, look, they're going to launch, their next ideas set, their tentpole launch of February alongside Nintendo's Switch 2 announcement, like hour for hour. You know what I mean? It was silly. So they don't care. Lego's doing whatever they want. So I think you can just put a pin in that cushion for the.
That's why, like in this case specifically, I'm so glad I'm not like a Lego ambassador, because like here I am, I have to talk about the Cullen House when Switch 2 came out. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not talking about this stupid thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Disregard it.
Right.
Whatever.
But where Nintendo did really innovate was the creation and development of the Game Boy, and rightfully so. The next major Nintendo collaboration release that we're going to be getting in 2025 is going to be the Game Boy. Now, we got a brief teaser that was shared by Nintendo on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. It showed, just a few bricks flying around that basically represented what the Game Boy had, like the purple, buttons. It had the, the cross, the D-pad, whatever. It was very interesting to show what they showed, but they didn't give us any information other than, hey, this is releasing in October of 2025,
and the Switch 2 will definitely be out by then.
The Switch 2 will be out by then, but that begs the question of, you're going to announce it in January that it's coming in October. This is Nintendo and Lego all over it. Like, this is what they did with Mario Kart. They gave us our tease of Mario Kart in March.
The only reason that I could see Nintendo advocating for it is like, hey, listen, Lego, we know we've developed this Game Boy. Really big fans of your designers and whatever. We need to shove this out the door before Switch 2 comes out, because we are absolutely not paying attention to not a single dollar of our money is going to marketing for this Game Boy until 3 weeks before it's available. So you need to announce this now so we can focus on Switch 2. That's why I think so. But from the Lego perspective, I think it's so not cool is how I'll phrase it, that something like this will get 8 months plus of lead time, where something like that Blacktron set will get 2 weeks of notice ahead of time, right before Christmas, when nobody's paying attention to stuff and when everybody's already spent all their money. Mm-hmm. So why are they like they are? I think Lego in this hypothetical, Lego started it by shoving Blacktron out the door, and now Nintendo's shoving the Game Boy out the door. So they're all just kind of shoving each other off. So like whatever, whatever.
I guess. I mean, it will be celebrated. Like it will, unless they just completely miss the mark on the design, which I don't think they will. They killed the Nintendo. Like the NES set is going down in history as one of the best Lego sets of all time, right?
But this can't be over $100.
I wouldn't think so either, unless I was trying to think like how they could beef it up to make it better. I mean, you're gonna have a cartridge of some kind that you can put in there. The only thing that I immediately pushed out there in social media was take advantage of the sound brick. I want to hear, as soon as I flip that switch on the top after I build this Lego set, it activates something internally there that makes that classic Game Boy chime, that ding noise that we always got when we turned on our Game Boys, right? It's embedded in our brains. If you had a Game Boy, that chime, and they have that sound brick now. So that's how you make this set at least a little bit more special. You don't have a TV like you did with the NES, whatever, but that's how you do it. You can make it special by incorporating the sound brick and making that chime after you put a game in and everything. Like it only turns on if you have the game. Like they showed us that they can do these things with that radio and the design of the radio. You have to turn it on in order to change the dial and change the tones and stuff like that.
Well, the easiest way to do that is you incorporate some sort of technology like from Mario where each cartridge is a different thing. So when you slot the cartridge in, it reads it with the color reader or whatever. So something like that. And then maybe, like they did with the Atari, there's these little displays of all the different stuff like Centipede and whatever. You can do that. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, Tetris has to be in this.
Oh, yeah.
Has to be.
Oh, yeah.
If they don't put Tetris in, I know Tetris is not owned by Nintendo. Every single Game Boy had Tetris, including my grandfather's. I played.
It came with the original. It came with it. Like
yes,
it was when they were still bundling games with
yes.
consoles. Here's the thing: if I was cool enough to be a designer, like some of our great friends like Brick and Nick as an example, the display stand. You would have it as a display stand, right? And that display stand would be made out of like Tetris bricks that it would like slot into and sit. So it's surrounded by Tetris, right? And that's where you could add in some of the micro builds, or you could have the dock for the different electronic Mario figures that, make different noises, or you can set it on top, but it needs to be a display stand there. It can sit up on its own, and you use those Tetris blocks to hold it up, right? Hold it upright. And then that's the play feature, is now you can make your little Mario guys like sit on top of it. It interacts with something on their bellies, whatever that corresponds with what console or game thing that you have in there. $100. I think it's more than that. If you start plussing it like that, if you include the sound brick, if you include extra cartridges that have extra different readers on them for different things, like if you allow us to put the batteries in, or something, like, you make batteries for the back of it kind of thing. Like what I feel like you can do stuff with it and get it to that 150 range and make the set really, really special that way. But again,
sorry,
it's not. I just want to point out, it's not an ideas. This is not an ideas set. This is Nintendo and Lego partnering up on this.
The other sticking point, I can't go without saying it. Now I have to wait until potentially October/September or August 2026 to have a shot at a UCS Castle. That's the main thing I'm disappointed by. Is like, this is not going to be a big grandiose Nintendo set. And we get that with every other theme, this big grandiose Disney and Star Wars and Minecraft and blah, 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 blah. And now this is going to be a sub $100 kit that, it's like the Piranha Plant again. I'm like,
I hope it's better than the Piranha Plant. They announced this on Mario Day. Yeah. Like officially, like give us like a look at it and everything on Mario Day.
Maybe, yeah, they will, because they're not going to do anything for Mario Day. Well, it's the 35th anniversary this year for Nintendo, for Mario. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the Nintendo wouldn't want anything to conflict with what they have in mind for their stuff. So I don't know.
Interesting.
The past couple Mario days, there haven't been anything like, whoa, crazy.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is that they already kind of told us what's coming later this year, but we haven't seen it. And this Mario Day would be the day. Like, obviously, if they're willing to announce that this is an October release, officially announce this is an October release, I feel like Mario Day is the day. Should be, if you follow marketing logic, Mario Day would be the day that you give us our first look at this thing.
And that's when this set is going to get overshadowed by Nintendo talking about the latest Mario Kart on Switch 2. So that no one cares about
two separate events. It's two separate events. Lego will do their own event on Mario Day with Lego centric, and then you have the Switch stuff. Well, they're not announcing anything on Switch until the Nintendo Direct.
We don't necessarily know that.
They put it in the promo. They said no information until April 2nd.
Now, that can pertain to the console. That can pertain to the shop. That can pertain to the blah, 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 blah.
You're not seeing anything on that until you're not seeing anything on this stuff.
But they're not going to skip over Mario's 35th birthday and do nothing.
It'll be all about the theme parks, man.
No,
it'll be all about them theme parks.
Actually, I'm sorry. Mario movie 2 trailer. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, they could do that. Yeah, I could see
That's
that.
exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're not touching that Switch until April. They set it in stone. If they should have. You're right. They should have that title card on the end of that teaser for the Switch should have said, Mario or March 10th, not April 2nd. But they put it on. They put it in stone as April 2nd. So it's like we're not going to see anything about the Switch until April 2nd. So, what Lego also announced, it just hit us, man. It was like the same freaking week. It was like the same week. They also hit us with another property, another license that they're partnering with. Again, not an ideas set, folks. But we have officially Bluey sets coming to Nintendo. God, now I've got Nintendo on the brain. Coming to Lego, both in the standard brick version and Duplo, which I believe you called when we first started talking about the idea of Bluey coming into Lego. So we're definitely getting some 4+ sets with Bluey, 6 new sets in total. They are scheduled for June 1st, if you believe the counter that they have on their website. And I think it's interesting that of all the things, that they have in the pipeline that are potentially coming out, whatever, they gave Bluey a 135-day countdown on the website.
And they're not going to do Jack Diddley for that Death Star. Nothing.
And that's where I go back to, man, is like you said it on this show.
So stupid.
If you're going to do anything, give us a countdown, a website landing page with a countdown on it until October. They're clearly announcing and teasing October sets because they just freaking did it.
They can do it.
They can do it. It's within their power to acknowledge said sets coming out in October, and you have your first $1,000 USD set that is going to be Star Wars based, probably going to be a Death Star, and you are tight-lipped about it. They better announce it on May 4th or whatever.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, they will.
They don't. I'm gonna riot. But Bluey's coming up here. I mean, do we? I have never watched Bluey. I'm like that guy. I've never seen a single episode of Bluey.
I've put out on social media, I'm like, I don't care about this. And everyone's like, so I watched it. So I watched it. Dude, all the parents betrayed me. Dude, the parents loved me for so long. Oh, my kids love you. I said one thing about Bluey. So I'm like,
you're dead to them.
Yeah. So I watched it, and it has a massive adult following.
Yeah, it does.
They will rip your face off.
Right.
And I get it. If you are a parent and you watch it, especially of a younger kid, a toddler, a baby, I can see how it can pull at your heartstrings. It did not impact me that way at all, but I'm clearly not a kid that can enjoy it, nor am I a parent that can appreciate it.
You're not the target demographic.
No, but normally with like kid shows and stuff, I'm like, oh, I get it. I can appreciate, but like it just did not resonate with me. And it wasn't out of malice or jealousy or I'm just like, whatever. But of all of the top things that Lego should be making a theme of, Bluey was at the top of the list. And there are obviously plenty others out there still, but Bluey's the most obvious. So it's happening. It'll happen for the next 5 years as long as it's relevant. People want to do. Actually, they're not continuing the series after I think this most upcoming season, but they're doing a movie. So this is not a forever thing. This is going to happen over 5 years and it'll be good. So,
and the reason I keep bringing up this idea of Bluey not being an idea set, of the Game Boy not being an idea set,
it was an idea set,
and it's because Lego is now starting to be accused, which not now, they've been accused of this before, but of potentially poaching ideas submissions and not approving them when they get the votes because they want to make these deals themselves with the licensing and not have to go around the ideas submission process. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I would not be okay. You are going on to Lego's own platform and saying, "Hey, here's my really good idea. This is what I want to do." And from a company perspective, this multi-billion-dollar corporation, you basically walked into their house and said, "Here's this really good idea. I designed the whole thing for you." And they're like, "Okay, cool." And they just like you literally put it on a silver platter for them. Now, I'm not saying that they steal designs or like whatever. There's already deals in the making. They've had the meetings. They can't do it. They reevaluate. You know, there's a million things that can go on behind the scenes that in favor or not in favor of whatever. I think when it comes to the very, 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 very obvious ones like Bluey, that's kind of inevitable. The Twilight House, unless 10,000 people really spoke up about it, would they ever really make it? I don't know. Snow White House to me also makes a whole bunch of sense. Like that's a very obvious one that you wouldn't necessarily need ideas to justify bringing into existence. Gilmore Girls is the same thing. Lego would probably not go out of their way to make it, right? So
I agree.
Just because something gets 10,000 votes doesn't mean, you know, they should prefer the ideas version over, you know, making their own version. And maybe it's something totally different. I don't know. But I don't subscribe to the idea of like it by default has to go to the designer. Like it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation, dude. They'll step on whoever if they have to.
And that's, you know, that's
unfortunately.
I know. And that's, you know, it's a little worrisome. It's a little icky, you know, but I mean, we've gotten a lot of Game Boy submissions, you know, over the years, and they have a pre-established relationship with Nintendo. So it's like, if you're,
the thing with Zelda,
yeah, if you're gonna be a designer and you're gonna submit something like that, you kind of know already that the waters you're treading in are pretty rough. Like 100%. They already, yeah. Bluey's the one thing that sticks out because it wasn't an IP that they already had a relationship with.
So it's semi-complicated in that Disney distributes it in America, but BBC has it in Australia. So like Bluey just recently got announced for Disney parks. There's going to be something, you know, not a full crazy thing, but like something happening. So Disney was already involved in cahoots with Bluey, and then this happened. So I think that's the train of thought that happened.
Interesting. Well, I mean, good on the people that love Bluey. I need to give Bluey a chance, for sure. I just haven't gotten around to actually say. I've got so many other things in the pipeline that Bluey just keeps getting pushed further and further down the list to sit down and actually like absorb at some point in time.
Yeah.
Part of what keeps me moving and shaking and keeps my attention is all my social media watching and perusing, and Lego's doing it to me again by adding another account now that I have to follow and watch and see what's going on with the Lego Builders account for Lego Builders. Made by builders for builders is their theme here. They just announced a new Instagram channel, Lego Builds, over on Instagram. A brand new content and community hub created especially for Lego fans. This is an interesting account.
Why?
Why is this an interesting account? First of all, there's a lot of cross-pollination already with posts that I've noticed. They're posting both on the on the Lego account and this account of the same
people over for sure.
They're trying to, I mean, obviously they're trying to get, you know, some people over, but why does this account exist? I'm still trying to find a reason for this extra account to exist other than as a hub for LAN members. That's what it feels like.
Yes, and more marketing. You can do the nerdy stuff, like talking about here's a lineage of all the modulars, where the hardcore, you know, I'm sorry, the passive Lego audience does not care. They care about the new thing, not the lineage of blah blah blah.
But they were doing those kinds of things on the other account too. You're just saying
And
that nobody cared about it.
They performed like garbage, and we're like, yeah, we got to put them on over here.
Gotcha.
So it's a concentrate. It's like if you're a variety Twitch streamer and you're like, oh, I play Dead by Daylight constantly. Now I'm gonna build this Lego friend set, and you go from having 150 people to 5 people, and you're like, oh, well, I should put this over here instead. I think it's the same thing.
Same thing. So they're just trying to put the audience where they think that the audience will go. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think from a LAN member perspective, which neither of us are, but hey, you could be featured on the official Lego social media channel, and now this is like a more frequent way that can happen.
Here's what I want to see them do with this, and it doesn't seem like they will, but I want to see them do this. We'll give it time. Jury's still out on this. Lego has been doing a very interesting thing lately on social media, specifically Instagram, where if you post photos of your sets that you have built and you tag Lego, the Lego account in them, they have been taking they ask your permission first, but they've been taking your images and putting them on the main Lego website under that listing for that set. And it's very fascinating and it's very cool. And you want to engage with your community and make your community feel good, really, really good about the sets that they're building. Continue to do that. Supposedly, that's what this account is going to continue to do, especially in the mock world, is if you tag Lego builds, plural, Lego builds on your mocks or your creations, you then have an opportunity to be featured on that account. We have yet to see that, so I don't know.
Yeah. And they're doing that because they don't want to clutter up the main timeline with whatever.
Right. Which again, if that's where they go with it, I'm very happy about that. I hope that they don't stop doing what they're doing on the main Lego website, where they're featuring, Lego fans out there making their sets and putting them on their website.
They're going to, but they are going to do it with the professional camera and lighting, and not the. In my opinion, like what would be like the ragtag kind of picture you take on your desk, like whatever. But
that's what they've been featuring on the website. They've been taking those ragtag pictures and putting them on the Lego.com website.
They want for those to have a natural feel. I mean, like posted on the Lego Instagram itself. Like the timeline, they're trying to make, here's our brand image cohesive. They're not going to share those images on their Instagram for everybody to see. They're also going to show the stuff that gets into the Lego house gallery, that stuff. They're going to show that stuff, not whatever stuff. Whatever stuff is going to go there. And like, I believe the perspective people Lego wants of LAN members is that they are officially representatives of Lego fans that have a direct connection with the Lego group for products and insight and whatever. So playing into that, this is their way of like, hey, here's all of our LAN members. They represent all of you. Here's all your stuff. Like that's it's just a different marketing angle. That's it.
Interesting.
I seem convinced.
I need to, I mean, it's so early in the game. I'm still withholding a lot of judgment as much as I can. Early perception on it doesn't look particularly great, but I think I want to give it at least a little time to prove me wrong that it's a necessary hub outside of the normal, social platform that they already had. Because they were like the stuff that you've been talking about, they've been doing these things. They've been on the main site or on the main account. They've been doing all these things. So they
probably saw they perform like garbage. I bet you.
But then why? But even if they did, why would you create a whole other account though to manage and worry about?
Because that's PR. That's your save face. That's your, hey, we love the community. Here it is.
Okay.
Because there's also this perspective with LAN members in general of like, okay, you get free stuff from the company all the time, and your perspective is skewed because you get these free products and you haven't need to pay for it. So like, how can we trust you? How can we build, from an outsider perspective? And that is definitely, I've seen more comments like that come. I don't believe that, but I don't feel that way. I'm sorry. But I've seen more of those comments come up. So maybe this is another way for them to be like, hey, we have a more
but that's what this is right now, is a hub for the land members. Like that's,
and for the community, for Lego to engage, for Lego and those land members to engage.
When their entire follower list is nothing but land members, like that's
right. Isn't that interesting and awesome?
That's what I'm saying. Perception wise, it's not looking good to start. So it's just, you need to like show me that that's not the case.
That screams like, yes, we are only following the people that, it's just starting out, but like it definitely conveys like we're only following the people that are within our circle.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I need to see, I just want to see them prove me wrong on this and show me that they are going to, I want to see, like, I want to see people that are mocking things that maybe I haven't been able to find. I want them to, do, a portfolio on some of these amazing mock builders out there that I don't know yet, that I'm not following yet, not just all the land members. Like that's what I want to see. I want to see the community. If you're going to make a community hub, I want to see the community.
In the meantime, you can look out for all the comments on the post you see here of all of the hopeful forthcoming land members posting on there and engaging with that content, because very clearly this is the page for all the land members, and they're like, oh, I need to say something to engage in the conversation and grasp on as much as I can.
Yeah. So they've already hit us with a lot of stuff starting in January, Lego wise. 2025 is going to be a heck of a freaking year. So I have some predictions about what I think looking ahead at 2025. I have a couple predictions. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I will go first because I'm going to be fairly succinct.
Okay.
Lego in 2025, objectively, I think Lego is not going to do anything new in regard to the technology they implement into their builds. And instead, they're going to attempt to double down on the sound stuff, the color sensor, the whatever, and make that more of a thing. Will that work? I don't think so. But I believe that is going to happen. I believe you're going to see some IP you've never seen before, like a Star Trek, and other stuff for 2025 as one-offs, because we saw a lot of that in 2024. This like, hey, here's this thing you never thought we'd be able to get, and then it's gone. Done. You're going to see way more of that. What I hope to have happen, I hope the Death Star is unbelievably, give me the bleep, unbelievably and cool. Yep. I hope. And I also really, 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 really hope that Lego understands what they will do to their bottom line when they release Legend of Zelda stuff that is not the Deku Tree, and they price it under $300 and make bangers of sets throughout the lineage of Legend of Zelda, Ocarina, Tears of the Kingdom, and everything in between. I think it'll be a smash success. I don't think you're going to see anything new from like Mario, more Mario Kart, obviously, but other than that, that's objectively. Personally, I think Lego is going to be a snoozer of a year for me, and I'm going to be even more disengaged from the product. Maybe that's because Switch 2, maybe because of the plans that I have for myself in 2025 and all my stuff going on. But a lot of what Lego is, I feel like what Lego is going to come out with in 2025, I'm going to be like, yep, whatever, and just not be very invested personally.
The big one,
negative Nancy I am. Sorry.
The big one is the excitement surrounding this supposed Lego Death Star in October. My prediction for 2025 is that the Lego Death Star is going to be a 2-in-1. I think that's the way you make it special. I think it's a Death Star you can build as Death Star 1, or it's a Death Star you can build as Death Star 2. I think you're going to hit a certain point in the build where you can decide which way you want to go. You can either make it completely a sphere, or you can only make it with the unfinished portion look. kind of thing. That's how you make it special, right? That's prediction number 1. Prediction number 2 is I think the 2025 total sales come in lower than 2024. I think that they are relying very heavily on this F1 deal. I think they're going to be relying heavily on a good feedback of a Nike deal. And I think that some of these things are, and obviously the Bluey IP, and I think some of these things are not going to go as well as they hoped. Lego Star Wars outside of the $1,000 set is people are becoming very bored with it. And so they gotta do something, right? They got to do something. And going back to the well and giving us older sets over again isn't going to, it's not going to be the end all be all savior of everything.
It doesn't help that people are not excited about Star Wars. They're just not. I finished Skeleton Crew. I really enjoyed Skeleton Crew, by the way. I really did.
Good.
I think that, well, we're not going to talk about the ending, but I'm like, but I wasn't like, give me more, like not like that. Is Grogu Mando this year? No, right?
I think it's next year.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a year for Star Wars. That's why they have that Death Star. That's their whatever. Everything else, I think, is going to be. It's
such a high price tag that I just don't think like that is a certain, and I think that's why.
That's evergreen. Yes, it's not going to sell like hotcakes the moment it comes out.
No, and I think that is where the Lego prices in general, and the Twilight set is a prime example of this. The Lego prices in general have become very skewed recently, and we started to see it in 2024, and it's starting to turn people off. Their quality has been going down in the actual build, what your value is on the sets, and the quality control on sets has been going down very much so over the last couple of years. In 2024, it hit a peak. So if 2025 for me is a make or break year for them to bring customer trust back. Yeah. And they need to do it in a way that they haven't, at least starting in January, they haven't really shown yet. So, and there's other competitors out there, as somebody's pointing out. There's other competitors that are becoming a little bit more advanced than they were originally. So they've got some work to do in 2025. And I just don't know if they can just rest on IP alone, because that's what it's felt like that they are trying to do is we're going to gather up all of these licensing and throw a bunch of crappy sets at all this licensing and hope that everybody, because of the licensing, they just keep coming back. And I think we're going to hit a breaking point in 2025 where if these sets don't start to translate into actually good sets, fun sets, good builds, worth value, worth the money that we're paying for them, I think that trust is going to hit a breaking point.
Here's your litmus test. I think Bluey is going to be the litmus test, because if you have a set like that is a slam dunk of an IP, print money, but if you make it just too expensive or just lacking in value enough that you don't get those diehard casual Bluey fans, then you lose a lot of that like hype. They have a counter on their website for this thing, right? Okay. They're clearly putting a lot of eggs in that basket, and we've seen it with like BTS and other things that have come up before, where I feel like we've thought, oh, they're going to be ravenous over this, and then it comes out and then it's retired within a calendar year. Right. So I think if they mess up Bluey price or value wise, that's a great indicator for what to look forward to in the next 6 months. So
it's true. It's very, very true. Oh, baby.
We got a lot to talk about in the post show.
We got a lot to talk about in the post show. Hopefully you guys stick around for that. But thank you, Mr. Bricks O'Brien, for kicking off a fantastic 50th episode to kick off 2025. I love it. Big 5-0. You've got a bunch of fun stuff coming up with the Bob Bonanza. If you want to hit that real fast while we're wrapping up here.
This next Friday is going to be my 29th birthday celebration. Games, giveaways, and massive announcements for the Bricks O'Brien Pro Gamers Guide to Brands and Beyond. Make sure you're there and hanging out for 19 hours of fun.
It's going to be amazing. Cannot wait. Thank you so much to our fantastic viewers here on live with us on YouTube. Don't forget, you can check us out every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern here on YouTube. You can obviously, the shows are posted afterwards, but you can also check us out on the audio podcast versions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share if you can. Be a friend by telling a friend. Mr. Bricks O'Brien, we'll catch you next week. If you are live with us here on YouTube, make sure you stick around for the post show. Until then, everybody, bye.